I see you've constructed your own lightsaber. How the hell how do you make a lightsaber?
They actually cover that in the Clone Wars cartoon.
Oh, okay, well.
And like not the TV show, but they did a cartoon thing to bridge the gap between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, and you see them doing it.
We're here to review Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, which in the trailers was for a while, I think before the movie came out, Revenge of the Jedi, and then he's like, oh, Jedis don't get revenge.
I think it was Spielberg who pointed that out to him. If memory serves.
See, because when the title for Episode 3 was revealed, that made so much more sense.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's such a great title, it's brilliant.
Yeah, because
I was expecting Fall of the Republic, in all honesty.
What?
Fall of the Republic, or Rise of the Empire.
Oh, yeah, Rise of the Empire, or something like that. So, this one is cool. In a lot of ways, for me, it's almost like an alternate take on Empire because of if you strip away the scenes and look at the structure, because it's set piece in the beginning, and then they split off again. It goes to Dagobah, and then it doesn't last as long because he just goes and then and Luke's, I can't remember. He's not off on his own again. He ends up joining them. Yeah, and then they go.
And then he goes off on his own again.
Then he goes off on his own again.
Luke's path is like this.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think this is a really, really, really good one. Obviously, the visual effects are 3 years later, so they're even like better in a lot of ways.
From Star Wars to Jedi, it's huge. But the visual effects have changed so much in 6 damn years. That is just, I've never seen special effects change that much between movies.
That's more than 6 years, ain't it?
77 to 80, then to 80 to 83.
Oh, fine. What were we saying?
It's just so good. Just so jaw-dropping how great everything looks in that movie, and how everything pieces together.
And even on the Blu-ray, I think it's the least touched. Did you notice the extending of the goddamn Jabba door?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. When are you ever gonna just leave
some
it
things
alone?
I'm like, really? Okay, whatever. And the other one that was really random that he put in, it was in Revenge of the Sith. He put moss on top of the some of the buildings on Kashyyyk. Like when Yoda beheads that one clone trooper.
Oh, yeah.
They have a shot above where you see the moss that was never there before, and I'm like,
God, the movie's so much better with the moss.
Who would have ever noticed that? Unless somebody had told me, I would have never have noticed that.
How did you notice it?
I read it online, and they had a screen comparison.
Yeah, people put those up.
Yeah, and I was like,
oh my God,
Lucas, really, at this point you're just doing it to be. Well, I can't say this one's perfect. What can I? That's it, moss.
I know that moss about. We didn't have the technology at the time.
Yeah. But yeah, the door thing is a bit ridiculous, and then having the Doug or Sebulba, whoever you want it to be, walking through. Oh, yeah. I actually am fine with putting some of those episode 1, 2, 3 characters in Jedi, especially in that scene. That scene welcomes it. But the fact that he just so obviously wasn't there before, and having him walk he just looks like such a little rag doll. I was just like, it's so noticeable. If it was a little more subtle, I think, having him just being standing in the background, not moving, I think I would have been fine with it a little more. But that, I was just like, oh, that's so noticeably bad.
So was that in the Blu-ray?
Yeah, it's in the Blu-ray.
So it wasn't in the DVD?
No, he just put that in there new. Did you not notice that?
I don't know.
You probably just repressed memory.
Yeah, probably did. Now, what's your take on which? I like the original musical number more. What's your take on the special edition?
I like the special edition musical number more. Just
it's weird because the movie seems to stop and all of a sudden.
It does stop. I will say that. But if you're asking which musical number are you talking about? Are you talking about
Jabba's Palace?
Jabba's Palace. Okay, that's what I thought.
What other musical number is
They changed the Ewoks.
Music
at the end. I like the new one a lot better than the old one.
I like the old one a lot better.
I like the old one just as a song in general, but they're screaming "Celebrate the Love."
Oh, I never knew what they were saying.
If you listen to what they actually listen for it, they say "Celebrate the Love" repeatedly, and I'm like, what? Like, why would you, why? But in the new one, I like the.
Oh,
it seems
okay.
more Star Wars. But yeah, I like the new musical number. Though I do like the Cy Snoodle's original. Yes, I know her name. Cy Snoodle's original musical number too. So.
So I'm just gonna go 3.5. It's the same thing where, just I don't know. I guess the thing about the middle and him, I just have a problem with him going to Dagobah in the middle. That's all it boils down to. I don't know. It's really teetering on 4 because the thing I love about Jedi more than Empire is, like I say, when you get that dark, creepy element Emperor element into it. You know what? This might almost push it. Now that I'm thinking about it,
The Emperor.
I might have to just go 4 on this because now that I'm thinking about it, that great stuff where he's trying to tempt him and all that stuff.
And what's the same tactics he did to Anakin.
What's great about the prequels existing is that, if you see the prequels before, it's like, oh god, here we go again. And and then what's even worse when you see the prequels is that it's so much more, he's such a sly bastard, and you're like, oh my god, he's just gonna do it again, and that makes Luke's defiance all the more. Oh god, you know what? Let's just go 4, because when I think about this stuff in basically all the movies building up to a lot of ways that moment, as a movie on its own, like the original trilogy, it might have been like 3.5. Yeah. But as a whole, and having Luke surprise the Emperor like that and say, clank, whatever he said, what's he say?
You failed, Your Highness. I'm a Jedi, like my father before me. Like, that scene is so
just
good.
Gives you goosebumps.
Yeah,
so,
and then he's like, so be it, Jedi.
Well, he doesn't.
Well, he doesn't do it
moment,
immediately,
but Han runs out and the thing blows up. So.
Do you notice that Han Solo grabs Leia's boob in that shot?
I don't know.
When Leia gets shot, and then he grabs her to push her back, he lifts her up by her boob, and it's fascinating. I didn't notice that. I read that on a blooper website, and I was like, bullshit. So then I watched, and I was like, holy crap! He does full on like boob. He moves his hand to there, and then does it.
Well, where's his hand? Like here, and he goes.
Yeah, like I think he touches her arm, and then like, and it's like. Wow. He's awesome. What a pimp. I always said so.
So, you know what? Thinking about all the ending, and I'm just gonna go 4 because that's so great.
I'm also gonna go 4. I go back and forth on this one. I think this is, in all honesty, the worst of the original.
It's weird. I'm gonna do 1 second. That the Jabba's palace stuff for me. It just feels like, okay, what are we doing here? Kind of thing. And the battle with the monster. It seems like in a lot of ways filler. I don't know. Go ahead.
I think this is the worst of the original trilogy, but I like it I like it better than the original movie, even though I think that one's certainly substantially a better movie. I like watching it more just because I've seen the full thing in context, and this is the perfect ending to that whole Anakin storyline. I'm going to go a little different route. I think the stuff that works best in this movie is the beginning and the ending. All the stuff on Tatooine is just awesome, especially the
what stuff?
The Sarlacc pit.
Sarlacc pit's good.
The Sarlacc pit. I like the battle with the Rancor that Luke does, and he throws the rock instead of forces the rock, which I thought was kind of strange to hit the thing and bring it down.
Something?
I'm like,
well, why can't you just force the button? Why can't you force the button?
Yeah, I know that's right. But I do like that scene quite a bit. I like everything in Jabba's palace, and how all the characters get brought together from being an outside source. That's sort of like they're creating their own little web, and then the stuff with the Emperor at the end of the movie. All the stuff with the Emperor is great. The stuff at the end of the movie where he's manipulating Luke, when it's the family members in that room, the chamber is so good, and I love for the first time in a lightsaber fight in the original trilogy, you have music. And Luke, once Vader pushes Luke to the angry point when he starts saying he'll attack his sister, that's when he goes out, and then the chorus just rises. It's so good, and you see when he's just like beating down on Vader, it's so strong. And I love Vader's the actor who was playing Vader's performance when he's looking between the Emperor and like that is Luke, and that is so strong. And then when he finally goes on Luke and he picks the Emperor up, and then you get the rise of the music again. It's really good. Kind of wish he didn't say no there. I think.
Oh, what the fuck?
I would have been fine with him saying no because at first he says no, and then he goes no, because they use the same exact delivery from the other one. I'm sure they just lifted the sound. I think he should have been like no, and
yeah, that would have been better.
Yeah.
That was Christ. You could take that one right there, George. That was great.
Yeah, like that, and then do it and toss it.
Yeah.
Which is such a great way to end the Emperor. He's the strongest man in the world, and he just gets thrown.
In the universe or whatever the hell it
he
is.
just gets thrown down the pit and explodes. That is so cool. But I think the weak parts for me are the stuff on Endor. But I like all the stuff on Endor.
I like that stuff.
That
Well,
stuff
that's
is
because
great.
it's so
It just
pretty.
doesn't
I mean,
feel.
it's
Yeah,
so damn
exactly.
great.
It's gorgeous. I do like the Ewoks.
Speeder bike chase. I mean,
The
come
speeder
on.
bike chase is amazing. It's one of the best action scenes in the movie. I actually kind of like that scene a little more than the space battle at the end of the movie to destroy the Death Star.
Oh God, I forget. That's great.
That scene, the greatest part with that is rather than repeating it by going to the trench, they go into the Death Star because it's broken on the one side, so they enter through. That is so cool, and that's so claustrophobic.
Standards.
That's going to be great in 3D.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's going to be just astounding. But and we never mentioned Lando. Lando's awesome.
Oh yeah,
I like Lando. He's smoother than
right.
Han.
That's right. And Han can see it, and he's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I know.
I better not let him
If
get
I were her,
along.
I would have gone with Lando. He's just so smooth. He's like, what have we here? Like, that is so good.
So yeah.
The one concession I will make that I think Jedi would have been the better movie if they'd reversed and had Lando be the one on Endor trying to do things to open up and have Han be in the ship. Han should have been in the Millennium Falcon.
I actually liked the switch because we've seen Han in the Millennium Falcon.
I guess, but it's just I don't know.
Well, the thing is, it's Lando's ship.
Yeah, it is true that it is Lando's ship.
So I do like that switch, but I can see wanting Han in the Falcon again.
Like he should have been the one to destroy the Death Star. Like that.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, I mean, it was a team effort. I mean,
Yeah.
if
he
he wouldn't have done what
he.
he did on Endor, he wouldn't have been able to destroy the Death Star.
So.
And that's another thing we never even touched on. In the first one, or number 4, is just the Death Star. But it's one of the great 70s things.
Yeah.
The Death Star.
And it's so cool looking. Like it's just literally a ball.
It's a ball, but it's got that great little.
Yeah, it has
indentation.
the indented dome thing. Like that's just so cool. And the look of the Death Star in Return of the Jedi is so awesome.
You mean
like, the broken Death Star?
It's being built.
Yeah. It's
when I was a
being
kid,
built.
I always thought that was left
The same.
over.
Yeah, I thought that. I was like, but it clearly blew up.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it took me several viewings to
I
realize
just
it was
thought
the second Death Star.
part blew off it. That's what
Yeah.
it looked like. Is it part of it blew off?
Yeah, I thought that too. I thought it was. Yeah, that could have probably been explained. But
Yeah.
man, Jedi's great. I will give it 4 stars. Like,
I'm gonna go for it now that I think about all the ending and the Emperor stuff, and especially when you look at all 6 movies,
yeah.
how much more important that ending has become than just the 3 that first existed.
Well, like when you first watch it as an original trilogy, it's like, where the hell is this Emperor dude coming from? Like you hear, he's mentioned in episode 4, and then you see him in episode 5, and then in episode 6 you get the Emperor. But seeing episodes 1, 2, and 3, that ending just like takes a leap in a positive way.
And what's great about it is seeing all 6 movies and seeing Jedi is you've seen him replace Dooku with Anakin or whatever, and now you're seeing him try to replace Anakin with Luke.
Yeah.
And it's just, how long has he been doing this?
Yeah, I know, right?
And he's like, do it!
Yeah, God, he's so good. So, Return of the Jedi. Here's the question for you for this. Who is the Return of the Jedi? Is the Return of the Jedi, is it Anakin or is it Luke? I say it's Anakin.
Oh gosh, that's
he's returning from the dark side.
That's tricky. I see. I think it means return of just the Jedi. Like they didn't exist until Luke was schooled in it.
Yeah.
So it's not so much the return of Luke, because Luke didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But Luke
Luke
carried on.
becomes the Jedi in the movie once he confronts his father.
That's what I mean. So return of the Jedi, and not being a person, but in the whatever it is, the cult. What would you call it? The school or whatever of the thing itself.
Yeah.
Return, because all the Jedi are gone out of the galaxy after Obi-Wan died. Well, after Yoda died.
Yoda's death is really good in this movie.
And that's true. Is there a reason why it disappears?
Because he became one with the Force. Same thing with like Obi-Wan. Those two become one with the Force, and that's why.
Yeah, right. Okay, gotcha.
The way I see it is they were both willing to die, and they let themselves die. That's the same thing with Anakin. Anakin lets himself die. Like he's like, take my mask off.
Well, why didn't he disappear?
He probably did. We just didn't. The camera didn't linger on him long enough.
He's covered up by the shell of the outfit. Is that your thing? Yeah,
Yeah.
bullshit. What do you think about Hayden?
I actually like the return because like
who's that old guy?
Yeah. It's like Anakin or Luke's just sitting there like, who's this guy who just showed up?
I think
like in all honesty, he should have showed up burnt.
In the context of all six, it's probably a better choice. But I remember when I first saw it, because I was so used to the other guy, because he's the guy who played, the mask off version, and
somebody pointed out online that like, because Lucas's argument is that like he comes back as Anakin before he died, and Anakin died when Vader took his form.
Right,
but then Anakin returns at the end, so shouldn't he therefore look like with the scars, completely bald, like he did at the end of episode 3, or something like that?
Oh, you mean that?
Yeah, like he's gonna do like he just shows up, just this terrifying Freddy Krueger kind of image.
It wouldn't have been so pretty, probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give it up and go 4 stars because of the Emperor stuff. Once I start to think about it, and just how much everything matters towards the end, and the only thing that is a little like having just another Death Star. I don't know about having another Death Star. In the
context of the story, the Death Star shouldn't have been destroyed in the first one. It should have been the presence in all 3, which was the original idea.
Or a Super Death Star for.
It's twice as big. Look at the other little Death Star balls around it.
Yeah. In retrospect, having the same thing back again is a little goofy. And I think they even say this Death Star is even more powerful than or something like that in the scroll.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, whatever. It can not only blow up a planet, but it can blow up a planet.
Why didn't the Death Star destroy Endor when, like, Luke and all of them, the entirety of the Rebel Alliance is on that. We could have problem solved.
You ruin it for all the fans. There's no reason why. That's fine.
There are 2 outstandingly funny things about the Star Wars movies that, and neither of them are about this movie, so I should mention them before. They're both to do with Episode 4. But one of them involves the Death Star. The Death Star in Episode 4 is waiting to get around a planet before it can shoot the Rebel Alliance. Why the hell didn't it just shoot through the one planet and then shoot through the other? We have to wait 20 minutes, hold on.
I never thought. Well, maybe they only have 1 charge per, 24 hours or something.
I guess, but I was just like, wait a minute, something doesn't flow here. That doesn't make sense.
I never even thought of that.
And then the other thing is that Anakin is such a bastard, and here's why. Anakin creates C-3PO, and then just abandons him in Episode 1.
Oh, yeah.
And Shmi takes him to the moisture farm in Episode 2 and plates him and whatnot. Anakin comes back and takes the only interpretive robot that Owen and Beru have. Like, it's got to be really hard for them to talk to these machines, and they're moisture farmers on a desert. Like, how much are they really doing? So they save up all their life to get another interpretive droid to get the exact same droid in Episode 4.
And Luke
takes them. That's just the funniest thing in the world. So yeah,
You almost lost it there. You're all red now.
it's so funny. Like Anakin is just such a prick.
Well, it's kidding.
And then he gets a jerk too. So,
but
yeah.
luckily, they die. The problems are over. You don't need a third one.
Yeah.
And it is what? Yeah. He re-buys them again.
he buys the exact same droid 20 years later.
I never thought of those 2 points.
So anyway,
There's probably more points than other
there's
people.
probably a lot of like.
If there's other points, let us know in the comments. That you've goofy points.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So,
He's almost
yeah. So
having a heart
anyway,
attack here. So
there
maybe
you have it.
that's it. We've covered all of the
Star Wars.
Did I
saga.
pass gas during the Star Wars review?
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
So there you have it.
He's about to lose it.
Pretty much.
So we're gonna catch you later, and that's it. Star Wars is reviewed. Maybe next year we'll review.
We'll probably give you like an update.
Yeah.
There won't be long analysis of the series,
No,
but we'll
but
give you
just
updates about the.
I still don't know if I'm even gonna. I'm teeter-tottering. Every time I think of if I'm gonna see episode 1, every time I think of going, it's like, who's that? Are you? And I just like, no. Maybe if it was free or something. I gotta do it, but at the same time, I don't know. So I don't know if I'll see one or not.
You could probably wait until next year. You made enough money. I would imagine that episode 2 will come out in 3D.
What do you think? Do you think that all 6 are going to come out, or do you think somewhere along the line they're going to start?
I think more people like episode 2 than episode 1. More people like episode 3 than episode 2.
So, because I was thinking, well, what if each, because when each year they do underperform, so we don't even get 4, 5, and 6 kind of thing.
Yeah,
That'd
like
be a problem.
I think this one did kind of better than expected, but also kind of not great just because it was episode 1. Had they started with episode 4, this weekend would have been huge.
Yeah.
You would have seen probably in the 50 million region.
Yeah, you're right. All right. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys later. Live long and prosper.
We should do the Star Treks.
Well, yeah, you mentioned that last year. In December. What the hell happened to that?
We will come back to you with Star Trek at some point.
At some point. We're not going to promise next bunch,
no.
but at some point.
Too many movies to get through today.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about even next time. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many of them, that's the problem, Or a good thing, I don't know. Catch you later.